A movie critic is what gives us regular people an insight of whether or not we want to dedicate our time to watching a movie. However, there are a bunch of movies out there that were given horrible reviews, but regular people like us think it was one of the best movies out there. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Hello and welcome back to BAM Top List. I'm your host Philip. Today I'll be taking a look at the top 10 movies critics hate but audiences love. We would like to give a thank you to one of our fans for this topic idea. If you have anything that you'd like us to talk about, let us know in the comments. Please give this video a like and subscribe so we can keep going with our lists. Now, let's get counting. Coming number 10, we have Spenser Confidential. This movie was released in 2020. It has a critic rating of 38% and the audience rating of 56%. This movie is an action crime movie and it is a Netflix original movie. We get to follow a Boston police officer named Spencer who was at a crime scene of a murder. But he ends up getting involved in a crime and goes to prison. 5 years later, Spencer is released from prison. Spencer then gets to team up with a fighter named Hawk, and they go and investigate together what really happened to the murderers of the 2 Boston police officers. Critics say that this movie was a weak story plot, and Mark Wahlberg wasn't the greatest fit for the role. New Day wrote, "There are many things to like about Mark Wahlberg as an actor, but he's not very good when his characters actually have to put thinking caps on." However, audience loved the movie and thought Mark did a great job for his role. Coming in at number 9, we have Rambo Last Blood. This movie was released in 2019. It has a critic rating of 27% and an audience rating of 82%. Last Blood is actually the last 5th movie of the franchise. You get to follow a man named John Rambo who is trying to relax by raising horses at a ranch. However, his life takes a turn when the woman he's in love with, the daughter, gets kidnapped by a Mexican dealer. His mission now is to get her back from the border and will do anything and everything to bring the daughter home safe. The movie has received bad reviews from critics due to poor fighting scenes and providing a sequel that was way out of league from the original movie. However, fans loved the different story plot and didn't mind the violence that was showing. Coming in number 8, we have Just Before I Go. This movie was released in 2015. It has a critic rating of 24% and an audience rating of 79%. It is a comedy drama. We get to follow a man named Ted Morgan, whose life turns upside down when his wife leaves him. He feels he has nothing else to live for. So, just before he goes to the afterlife, he decides to visit his hometown and face the people who he believes are the ones to blame for how he is. This movie got a bad rating from the critics because they feel it just detoured into sensitive drama. However, the audience liked the movie for its comedic way of trying to deal with trauma. Coming in number 7, we have Cowboys and Aliens. This movie was released in 2011 and has a critic rating of 44% and an audience rating of 77%. It is a science fiction movie and it stars Harrison Ford. It takes place in 1873 and we get to follow a man named Jake Lonergan, who all of a sudden has this metallic bracelet thing on his arm. He walks into town, Absolution, located in Arizona. The town is now in threat because of Jake and his metallic arm. The town's leader, Cole Dollarhide, noticed a strange phenomena happening in his town, and these beings are more powerful than they've ever seen before. So they gather everyone from the nearby towns to try and stop these aliens from destroying their hometown. This movie received bad ratings because of how the movie portrayed the invasion of aliens. So seriously, when the audience actually loved how different it was from the rest of the alien movies out there. Coming number 6, we have Warcraft. This movie was released in 2016. It has a critic rating of 28% and audiences have a rating of 75%. It's an action fantasy movie based on the best-selling video game World of Warcraft. We get to follow an orc shaman who is trying to escape a dying world and to find a new place they can call home. However, the orcs use dark magic to open up a portal, which can allow all orcs in town to escape and enter the new world, known as Azeroth, which is occupied by humans. The humans don't like the fact that orcs are invading their land, so they try to stop them from taking over. This movie received a bad rating because of the weak storyline. However, fans of the movie don't mind the story plot at all, since this movie was based off a strong plot in the video game and was just happy it finally turned into a movie. Coming number 5, we have Badland. This movie was released in 2019. It has a critic rating of 43% and an audience rating of 51%. It is a Western movie. It is based on true events. We get to follow a detective named Matthias Breacher, who gets hired by a senator to track down wanted Confederate war criminals as he travels the Badlands to track them down. He meets a woman who is not what she seems to appear. She throws him off track away from his target. This movie received bad ratings because of its unrealistic way of how people back in the day would handle things. Audiences didn't seem to mind the unrealistic way of things, and that it was just an entertaining to watch. Coming in number 4, we have The Greatest Showman. This movie released in 2017 and has a critic rating of 56% and audience gave it a rating of 86%. This movie is a musical drama. This movie is based on true events. This movie is set in the 1800s and we get to follow a man named P.T. Burnham. He is known to have natural talent of publicity and promotion. Hopping from one job to another, he finds himself enjoying the entertainment industry. So he created himself a circus called Burnham and Bailey Circus. He brings amazing musical dancers and daring acrobat performers. He gets to tour around and becomes the greatest showman of all time. This movie received a low rating from the critics because it's not historically accurate. In actuality, P.T. Burnham was a bad man, but the audiences, however, didn't seem to mind at all that it's not historically accurate. Enjoy the movie how it is. Coming number 3, we have Venom. This movie was released in 2018. This movie received critic ratings of 28% and audience gave it 80% rating. It is an action sci-fi movie. We get to follow a journalist named Eddie Brock, who is trying to take down the owner of Life Foundation. However, while Eddie investigates, he puts himself into trouble by merging himself with the alien Venom. This then gives Eddie super strength and is able to combat anyone that gets in his way. But Venom tries to take over his body and mind. This movie received bad ratings from critics because they believe this movie was a huge throwback to the bad days of superhero movies from the 2000s. However, audience loved that Tom Hardy played his role as Venom and thought this movie portrays exactly what the villain is supposed to represent. Coming number 2, we have Gemini Man. This movie was released in 2019 and it stars the famous Will Smith. This movie received critic ratings of 26% and audience gave it a rating of 83%. It is an action thrill film. We get to follow a man named Henry Morgan, who is a former Marine Scout sniper, who is on retirement however. Instead of relaxing on his retirement, he's being targeted by a mysterious person. But later on in the movie, we get to find out that he's actually being targeted by a younger, faster, cloned version of himself named Junior. We get to find out later in the movie that Junior was created without any human emotions or fear. This movie received bad reviews from critics because of all the poor effects used and predictable plot. But audience didn't seem to mind at all, saying this movie was very enjoyable to watch, and we have 2 Will Smith in one shot. Coming in number 1, we have Angel Has Fallen. This movie was released in 2019. It has a critic rating of 39% and an audience rating of 93%. It is an action thriller movie. We get to follow a Secret Service agent named Mike Banning, who happens to get arrested by the FBI for a failure attempt to try and kill the US president. After escaping his captors, Mike tries to stay away from the FBI and his agency tries to find the actual person who tried to assassinate the president to begin with. Since he's desperate to uncover the truth, he partners up with an unlikely group of people to help him clear his name, so he can get to the bottom of the real threat. This movie received bad ratings from critics because they believe it's a no-brainer type of show, meaning that everything is predictable and there is no excitement in the story plot. They said this movie has no value and poor quality. However, fans think the opposite. Fans believe that this was a good storyline and it feels realistic if it were to actually ever happen. And that's it for today's list of the top 10 movie critics hate but audience love. Which movie on this list will you give a chance? Which one do you want to actually check out? Let us know in the comments below. Also, we would like to thank our fan again for helping us out with this content idea. If there's something that you would like for us to talk about, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to leave this video a like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all our lists. I'm your host Philip and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out guys.